Well, what are we up to today? Well, we're starting in the kitchen with a roast. You might wonder why this is a cooking channel. It's not. But we have this nice little tray from Somerville Sheet Metal Works that goes in my Travel Buddy oven in my 6-wheel drive Land Rover Perenti ambulance. And today we're going to do a roast in it because we've got a long trip coming up and we're trying to learn how to cook on the trip. And these have been popular videos, so I'm going to do a few more of them. So to give you a rundown, we'll see the vehicle shortly. But this is a tray that goes in the 24-volt Travel Buddy, and it's got a removable trivet. And we've got our foil on the bottom. That just helps with the cleaning a little bit. Now, we're going to marinate this. This is a good slice of topside steak. We're going to give it a bit of a score on the top and put it in some marinade. Now, ideally, I would like to have prepared this much sooner than now, but life is what it is. In fact, this is going to go on the cutting board, which we'll wash later. And of course, I've washed my hands. Now, we have two good Wiltshire Stay Sharp knives. I don't know where they are. So I found one in the dishwasher. This has a little ceramic sharpener in here. So what we're going to do here is try and find a sort of a cosmetically approved angle, I guess. Put some slices along this way. There is a method in the madness with this too. But you do need a sharp knife when you're dealing with a fat layer like this. Now, I had hoped to marinate this overnight. Probably not going to happen at this point. We'll probably give it a couple of hours because we're going to give it about 4 or 5 in the oven. With a cut this big, it's definitely going to take a lot longer. Okay, there's our nice little cut along the top. Going to plonk in here and find our marinade. Now, earlier in the day, we went to the butcher's, the same place we got this. We go to our local butcher's, and they recommended this marinade, which is a red wine and garlic. I'm going to try this out. If there's enough, there may not be, but we'll work it in. We'll give it a couple of hours in this. Ideally, you'd do it overnight, but we'll see how we go. Try and make work within the time we've got. Basically, that's what we want. Right, we'll chuck that in the fridge for a couple of hours and we'll come back. And of course, I'm not a fan of having things uncovered in the fridge. Best of all, raw meat. Although this come in today, so it's pretty fresh. Okay, well, we're going to go outside here and check on the state of things. Now, firstly, I'm going to check on our battery volts. We are 1.1 amps, just maintaining them at 27 volts. It's a beautiful sunny day. It's probably not going to be that day tomorrow. That's going to keep things well charged. However, we have shore power there. But the experiment in this is because we're going to be doing a long trip out to the west, probably into South Australia at some point. We want to make this work off the grid because that's going to be the majority of the time we're at. Looks like our main battery is at 12.6. Our auxiliary system's 26.7 at this point. That's pretty good. Okay, we do want to open the cabin window to let a bit of air through. Now both our front vents are open. Let's go open the back. Alright, it does look a bit like a bomb's hit it in here. It's been lived in for the past few days. We'll take our ladder out and move our fridge back in a better orientation. Now, this is our oven in here. We've got our 2 racks. We're going to be taking them out because we will be doing other things with it. I do need to get in here with some oven cleaner at some point in the near future, but that won't be today. I will call the missus up. Now, we need to check that. Firstly, power is on. That's got power to the same system. The LED stopped working a while ago. I contacted the manufacturer. They sent me a new one. But pretty much as soon as I put it back together after fixing that, it stopped working. So I may have just bumped it out of the back. Either way, we do need to check that things are going to get warm. I'll leave that run for a bit. When it gets warm, we'll know that it's working. Other things I'd planned to be doing today is putting grease in the outer bearings of this because I recently did a river crossing with it. It's amphibious and I need to oil the chains. Today would be an ideal day to do it, but other things have happened. Tomorrow is going to be raining, but we will be moving this vehicle forward and unhitching this trailer and folding the footstep down. which for ventilation purposes, we might do that now anyway. We can fold it half down, when of course the ladder is out of the way. And that just sits on the hitch. When it's fully folded down, your footstep folds out like that. This should be ample time to determine if it's warming up in here. It is, the heating element is warming up. Okay, we will preheat that later. Alright, next thing we need is a clean cutting board. I'm going to try and find some spuds if there's anything in this kitchen. Now, I have a particular weakness for properly done roast spuds. Now, I could just cut some of these up and dip them in olive oil, and they'd make acceptable roast spuds, but I probably want to parboil these so they go crunchy. So in about an hour or so, I'm going to peel some spuds, parboil them, and get them ready to go, and about probably an hour before the end of the cooking, we'll put the roast spuds in.
2 hours later.
Alright, marinated roast in here. Now, I washed hands as usual. I'm going to take our roast here. We're going to try and get the bulk of it towards the rear, because that's where things tend to be most consistent temperature-wise there. The door at the front lets a bit of heat out. So we're going to go about there. And I think we should be right. I was half tempted to take advice that says put your marinade in the bottom. I could probably do that with a little bit of water and it'll keep it moist. But I want to roast some spuds at the end of it too. Now, one other feature that came with this was a lid. This should help keep things a bit more moist. And it's almost blocking the hole there. So that'll give us a good idea of how it's cooking. Alright, so we're set to about 180 or thereabouts. We'll wind her all the way up to 2 hours. We'll come back in probably an hour and check on it. And probably about 2 hours, I'll wind it up for another hour and we'll put the spuds in at that point. So just as a last minute check, our solar output should have come up to about the consumption. It's about 8.2 amps going in there on the MPPT. It can push about probably 16 or 20. Because the batteries are charged, it's only contributing roughly what our usage is, because we have loads of solar panel on here. Somewhere about, I think they're 340 watts each, so that would be a total of 720 watts. And they're in a 90 volt string, so even if the sun isn't ideal, we still get some charge off it. I have my nice little setup in here as well, with our Anderson plugs hiding away in there. So for now, we're going to go and wait. We'll watch the air show while we're waiting. Where is he? Oh, we missed him. That was a PC-21. Alright, now I've got some washed spuds. I went washed ones because I'm not a Mennonite. We're going to peel these, parboil them, give them a bit of oil and herbs, and hopefully there's enough room to fit 3 spuds in there with the roast. Alright, some freshly de-skinned spuds. Off we go. Going to cut them chunky because we wanted to roast. However, I think at 180 degrees I may not get the crispy outside that I want, but I'm going to try anyway. Right, there we go. Here's another project I had from years ago. Somebody donated the Taser unit to me a few years back, so I turned it into an oven igniter. Before you worry, you can't zap yourself with it. Alright, time to come and check on how it's progressing. I open the door, I might come around the other side. Alright, it's now got to about 35 degrees Celsius out here. So it's getting on the warm side. The sun has certainly got some bite to it. Let's see how she's looking and smelling. Where's my gloves? In case you're worried, these don't actually get that hot on the outside. There's a lot of insulation in them. So in an enclosed box like that, it's really not too bad. Let's take a look at our gloves. Yeah, she's certainly cooking along nicely in there. I'm not going to disturb it. Can stay in there. Oh, and that smells delicious. Doesn't smell quite done yet, but certainly smells delicious. Yeah. Also somebody that can smell what's going on is this guy we've named Up Up. He's one of this year's brood, or maybe even last year. Anyway, he's hanging around. He likes to come and talk to us a lot. He also likes to come and check out when we're cooking delicious things. Now, if you're the sort that skips through videos, you might realise that I'm doing this in a kitchen, even though I'm dealing with a travel oven that can do things while you drive. And we could do this in the boiling vessel we have in there. Well, the reason for all of this is we're learning how to use this oven. We do have a longer trip planned for the future, and in which case we will probably be relying on this, so it works to learn what we're doing first. In any case, these are getting to the point where I'd almost pulled them out. A little bit hard at the moment, but you can tell with a fork. We're going to use some olive oil here, some of this stuff. I guess made from crushed up virgins. I'm not sure how they come up with that. And some allspice, which is basically rosemary, thyme, marjoram, basil, sage, and as my wife would call it, oregano. So I'm going to do a serving of that and some oil. And when I pull them out, we're going to roll them around in this mix, and then we're going to chuck them in with the roast. Alright, so my spuds are just starting to get soft, which means they're right to turn off. And we'll go back a zoom level. Now, I would normally put these in a colander, but we're trying to pretend we're on the road, so I'm going to do them with a more reasonable tool that I'd be likely to have on me. These will be a little bit roughed up on the outside, but that does add to the ability for them to get a little crunchy. They should be like giant potato chips by the time we're done. Right, let's go out and chuck these in. Okay, we'll put it down on the footstep where we can see it. Here we go here. Oh, that is falling apart beautiful. Now, chuck our spuds in here. It is cooking beautifully.
One hour later.
Hot even through the gloves. Alright. See, here we go here. Oh, that looks good. The spuds have got a bit crispy, not consistently, but that's okay. Alright, over in the sink with that one. Alright, we just took a slice off and it's beautifully cooked through. The spuds could have used a bit longer, but you know, lesson learnt for next time. Look at this, it's beautiful. Alright, we'll plate up. Well, my apprentice is certainly getting stuck into it. Let's see what our roast tastes like here.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to wait for the meat.
It's nice and soft. Spuds are very soft, not crunchy though. Yeah, they needed a lot more time on the spuds, but other than that, it's good. So I'm going to finish it and the video with it.